Latinos Out Loud podcast. Latinos. Yeah, that's what this is. Latinos Out Loud.
Hello, helleros, boy, do I have a treat for you. It's your girl, Rachel La Loca, here, Latinos Out Loud. I've been wanting to have this woman on my show for years. I've been putting it out in the universe. I've been manifesting or manifesting it. Selenis Leyva's on the show right now. We are so excited to have you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's
I'm
been
doing
a while. Listen, New York, back in the day when I was in Eureka Rule. I remember. Yep.
I have been supporting your career and learning from you as a child of sketch comedy, as a student of the Upright Citizens Brigade, as a woman who has graced the stage a few times, not as many as you, of the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, an iconic establishment here for Latinos in New York. I am honored. Es un honor. Es un privilegio. De verdad. It is a privilege to talk to you. I know we don't know each other very well, but gosh, I'm so proud of you. Watching your career trajectory has really inspired me. You started as a sketch comedian on the stages of the Eureka Poets Cafe.
Most people don't know that. People are like, oh, because, I started out doing sketch comedy and then all of a sudden I got thrust into just dramatic roles, which, hey, it's fine. So now coming back to kind of like the beginning, right? It feels amazing to be able to do comedy again, because that's what I've been wanting to do. And people were like, no, we want you to suffer. We want you to be dramatic. So this is good.
It's so great. I want to tell you that I also saw you on off-Broadway stages doing Celia back in the day. And you are so vibrant. You are so talented. It's just, you're fun to watch. And you really are so educational in your acting, in your portrayal of iconic figures. We're talking Celia Cruz here. So, we can get into Lopez, but before we do that, I also want to shout out a friend of ours, a mutual friend who's no longer gracing this planet. But I reached out to you a few years ago to help me write a eulogy for Angelo Lozada, which you did so willingly and so gracefully, and you shared so many beautiful words for this beautiful soul. And I just want to shout that out and thank you for helping me write that piece. That piece was also for me a tribute to a man that I also learned a great deal from, who was on my podcast several times, who I saw here on stage. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cry, girl. I'm so sorry.
No. Yeah, that was a big loss for I think for all of us. For me personally, he was, my big brother, my the teacher, that the first person to really tell me, like, you're funny. You need to do this. It was him, it was Angelo. And this is a true story. I dream with Angelo every once in a while. Right after he passed, I dreamt with him the day he passed, which was, I know his way of telling me, like, I'm good. I had a dream with him not too long ago where I was talking to George. I was sitting there talking to George, and I look, and Angelo is sitting next to George. And Angelo is looking at me with that look. You know how, he would and give you that nod and that look?
The big eyes.
The big eyes. That was the dream. He was sitting next to George Lopez, looking at me, smiling. And I went, wow, he's here. He sees it. I feel him all the time. So I know that's our beautiful connection is also with him. Yeah.
I feel him too, girl. I feel his spirit. I hear his voice sometimes, the look, all of that. But let's keep him alive. Let's keep his spirit.
And we're doing it with comedy, because I know that, comedy was so, that was Angelo. And so the fact that I am doing it, the fact that I feel like I am representing for those years, back in the day when I was 19, I met Angelo when I was 19 years old. And he taught me, he was like, you're funny and you need to do this. And, he was like, you're badass, so I am doing this, and I always think of him. He's right here. He's right here. He's my partner.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
God, do I love it? She's showing me a picture. She's got a big blow up of him and her. Oh, that's so lovely.
In
And
my office. Yep, that's my partner. Yeah.
he is watching you now go into season 2 of
Yes.
Lopez versus Lopez, coming out on NBC April 2nd. First of all, felicidades.
Yes.
Congratulations. Tell us about this experience. Tell us about the transition, if any, of Rosie, your character, from season 1 to season 2.
Look, what we're going to see Rosie. Rosie is, George Lopez's ex-wife on the show, and they have an interesting relationship. It's kind of like, the love-hate thing, which brings the comedy. There's a lot of they love to go, toe to toe with each other, which is exciting for me that they're giving me this opportunity because I'm with an icon, George Lopez, and if they think that I could go toe to toe with George Lopez, I'm like, bring it. So I'm having a great time doing that. I'm learning a lot. As an actor, I always say, like, I don't think I know it all because I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly evolving, and I'm hoping to get better. And I feel like I'm learning so much. When I started out doing sketch comedy at the age of 19, I learned so much from someone like Angelo Lozada, who was doing it for a while, who had been doing it, and all the comics that came through. I was learning. And now here I am in the universe of multicam with an icon, somebody who did it years ago, who did it in such an amazing big way. And I'm learning from him. And we're having a really good time. And Rosie and George, for season 2, you're going to see their relationship hit like a different note. That, how sometimes you see someone or you feel like, oh, that's my ex, I don't feel anything for them, and then maybe they have a new love interest, maybe somebody sees them and is like, oh, pointing out how good looking they are, or pointing, and you're like, I think George and Rosie are going to have a little bit of those moments of like, which is fun.
I can't wait to see that. That's interesting and really hits home, by the way. I'm not going to get into my personal right now, but see. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. This is so great. So as like sketch comedy girls, like we're taught this rhythm, 4-page sketch and like straight man. Like, do any of those sketch comedy tactics come into play when you're on set shooting and being Rosie?
I think that the technique comes into play because there has to be technique, right? There is something about comedy. Comedy, people don't understand, is really difficult. I think people think it's easy, but it's really, really hard to be funny. It's like if you try to be funny, you're not going to be funny. There's so much truth behind comedy. There's so much depth that I think people don't understand. With the world of multicam, what has helped me is that it's very much like theater, which is my home. Theater is my foundation. So multicam, even though they're cameras, it's not like the single cam where they're coming in close and for coverages. No, the world of multicam is like the cameras are there, and you hitting your mark, and it's like they're the audience, and then you have the live audience taping when you have people coming in. That's when I love. That's when girl, you want to see
Let's
me
talk to me
on?
about that. Talk to me because we feed off of the energy of the audience as sketch comedians. So I can me imagino, yo me imagino. Dime.
It's like, right, as soon as I hear that first laughter, I'm like, and it's on. You know what I mean? You're like, because when you're doing it, and yes, we have people who will laugh in the village, for jokes, but it's not the same as people who don't know the jokes, don't know what's coming, aren't being asked to laugh at the point. No, audience, people will give you their real reaction in real time. And that is the beauty about when we do those live audience taping. Live audience taping, you have an audience who's there watching us film the show. We film the show on Mondays, we put it in the can, and then on Tuesdays, we do it in front of a live audience. And that's our favorite. That's my favorite. I know for sure George loves it as a stand-up comedian. He loves that. It's just, there is something really magical about the energy you get from that live audience, that
Yeah, like
laughter.
I wonder if you get like, the like loud laughter we hear in the laugh tracks. Like we know it. There's that signature. Like when
And
you
they're
get
real
the vibe.
people. But they're real people, and that's how you know it's live. We have like now the beautiful thing about being in season 2 of Lopez versus Lopez is that we shoot in NBC Universal a lot in here in LA, and we have now repeat audience members, and now we know their voice, now we know their laughter. We're like, oh, the guy's here, yeah. Like we'll be telling each other, he's
That's
like, oh yeah, he's
Margarita.
back. Yeah. I think, yeah, is that Pablo? Yeah, that's Pablo. Like we know now everybody's laughter, which is really great to know that people love the show so much that they're coming back for more and sitting in the audiences. And sometimes it takes us 3-4 hours to shoot an entire show because we're going back and forth. There's changes, there's wardrobe changes, set changes. So it's a full day and they're committed. We had an audience last week where it felt like the Jerry Springer show because every time we would say something, they were like, oh no. Like there was that kind of response. And it was pretty funny. We laughed so hard about that day because we had to stop in places that we weren't prepared to stop because people were just so involved and laughing and talking. So it was good. It was good. It's a good time.
Fun. Listen, as a fierce Latina, Rosie, I mean, Selenis is as well, but like as your character, Rosie, what are some takeaways that you want us, the viewer, us Latinas, to take from your character?
I love playing Rosie because she really is a celebration of all the women that I grew up watching, all the women that are in my family, from my mother to, a teacher in junior high school, 80, to, my neighbor, to my titi, to all these women that were unapologetically themselves. You know what I mean? Sexy, owning their bodies. We're living in a time where everybody is, shooting themselves up to be thin and look a certain way and look the same way. And I'm like, I love that this woman is a representation of everything that supposedly is not supposed to be right. And she's like, yeah, it's right. I'm gonna wear my leopard. I'm gonna wear my heels. I'm gonna embrace my curves. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have my little saucy accent. I'm gonna do it all, and it's authentic to where I come from. It's who I am. It's a celebration of truly of all the women that have come into my life. And every time I play a character, I take from real life. I take from real women, real experiences, because I know that that's how I connect with people. And I love the fact that I'm an Afro-Latina over the age of 40 going, what? Bring it. It's on. It's better than ever. I feel better than ever, more powerful, more grounded, more in control. And yet I'm learning because every day being on the set of Lopez versus Lopez with a comedy icon is a classroom. It's a classroom. So it's great.
We are so proud of you. We are rooting for you back here in your stomping grounds, East Coast, NY represents. Shout out to Arnold. Shout out to Mello. More
Yes.
Mello, okay? And your bro. Listen,
Yes.
you're doing such amazing things. And I really personally look forward to continuing to learning from you, watching you grow. You inspire me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your talent. Thank you for being so authentic. You really hit the nail on the head with that one because we need to see more Selenises on television. So
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I think it is a celebration to be your authentic self, in a time where I grew up in a time where people were like, you're not enough, you don't fit the mold of what we think Latinas should look like or should be. And I'm in a place where I'm like, no, not only am I enough, but I'm also making room for everyone else that's coming right behind me. I'm making it a little easier, hopefully. It's a big deal to have this type of show with me as one of their leads on network TV. There's a message here that is very clear, and the message is, honey, not only am I enough, but I could go toe to toe with the iconic George Lopez.
tell them, air horns, brr, 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 brr. Y'all hear? Thank you. I know my time. I've gone a little over my time here, but this is so special to me.
Thank
You
you
have no
for
idea.
everything.
You have no idea. Seguimos
Thank you.
adelante. Thank you, Selenis Leyva. Check out Lopez versus Lopez season 2, April 2nd on NBC and streaming on Peacock the very next day.
Yes, thank you.
The Latinos Out Loud podcast.